Hey, just a little break between recording. I just wanted to get on to you about the It's Time to Refresh free birthday event that we're running. But basically, I've put on a free party and it's got its unbelievable lineup. I've dropped the flyer right now. We've got from A to Z, if I can remember rightly, it's Andy Kelly. Then we've got myself. We've also got General Bounce. And last but not least, we've got John G. Really looking forward to this lineup. Like, it's all for free, and that's at Club 135, Whitehaven, and it's on Saturday the 25th of March. It's time to refresh. First birthday. Get on it. You know it makes sense.
This is the It's Time to Refresh podcast with Brad Riffresh, the podcast about life, music, traveling, shit, literal shit that is, and weird and wacky stories with Brad and a range of guests from the planet Earth. Feel free to share the pod with your pals, your mom, your neighbor's dog, or even your shrink. It's all fun. You can follow our Facebook group called It's Time to Refresh Community, or It's Time to Refresh on Instagram. Write into the pod, ask questions, and share your stories. Enjoy the pod.
Hey kids, what time is that?
It's time to refresh.
Back once again for another episode. This is It's Time to Refresh, episode 46. I think. Yeah, but I thought, do you know what? Let's just get Dean back on, because it's been 40 something episodes since last on, and as well we've got the video and everything like that. There's a lot happened from episode 2 to episode whatever 40 we're on. So back on again. Dean Drake Liddell. Well, as I say, if you haven't watched episode 2, we'll sort of have a brief chat about Dean. So it's Dean goes under the name Drake Liddell for Trance.
Yeah, Liddell for Trance.
And a couple of other like pseudonyms. I'm sure there's bits and bobs.
No, it's mainly Liddell's just complete trance, and then Drake Liddell's like everything else.
Yeah. So because I know you were doing like Makina and you were doing a bit of hard house and that as well. So that's all under that name, is it?
Under that alias, yeah.
Excellent, mate. Right, so we'll start off like I've been doing with everyone else. What did you have for tea last night?
You know what? I actually can't even remember. I can't even remember what I had for tea last night. Hey. No, actually, what did I even have? Nah, honestly, it's gone. I literally can't even remember what I had for tea last night. No.
Class.
Oh, no, I know what I had, Fucking hell, there it is. Chicken balti. Chicken balti with rice and that. It was nice.
What, homemade or bought in?
No, I wasn't homemade, like. Free out the freezer and straight in the oven.
Nice one. What do you have with your sides? Just to get, we'll just get that conversation going.
Sides? Oh, bloody hell, I don't really have sides, I know me, like.
Do you not have like a naan bread? No. Fucking hell. I love
straight
an
in with the rice and curry, that's it.
I love it.
Nah, sometimes if Tanya's making homemade curry and that, like, usually we will have, like, some, like, naan bread or something.
Garlic naan?
Garlic naan or something like that, but if it's just the freezer shit, it's just bang it in, get it out, eat it.
Well, since last time you were on, there's been like loads happen, so we're just going to get into this. Like, usually we just do everyone's episode, but it's returning guest and that. I just thought, fuck it, like, there's so much happened over the last year that I thought, well, why not? So how's the last year been for you?
Well, last year, fucking hell, all the way through last year was pretty mental, to be fair. It was like, from the start of the year, for some reason, it was just like, it was sort of like there was nothing happening, and then all of a sudden, I think it was from round about this time, like March, all of a sudden I was just getting messages, like, to go and play for this gig, to go and play for that gig, and then before I knew it, it was like, I was practically out every fucking weekend.
The thing is, as well, so we can sort of touch on all this stuff as well throughout the pod, but is this when you did the Shame track? It's roughly about a year ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it was roughly when all this, like, new sort of style come in, like, from myself, was sort of like when it all got picked up by, like, everybody and that, and then just all of a sudden it just blew up from there, and that's we ended up like.
Excellent.
Play
Did you
it
make
out
a
every
Did you make a
weekend.
conscious decision about that to change your sound up a bit, or
Yeah, I did. Mainly what it was. Well, it wasn't the start of last year. It was like just at the end of the year.
2021?
2021. Just at the end of that year, and I basically just sat in the studio, and I was just thinking it, like, obviously listening to music and stuff, and flicking through SoundCloud and that, other people's music and that. And I was just sat there and just sitting, just literally swinging about on this chair and thinking I need to like do something different. Like I really need to like think out the box and just bring something new
yeah?
to the table. And then I just started. It was what was it again? What track was it?
It must come hand in hand with doing the trance as well.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, that's sort of I was where it started was I got a vocal off Kenny, and it was that his and Daz's track,
Wait,
Shine On.
Oh, Shining.
Shine On.
Yeah.
Star
That's a good
Citizen,
tune.
Shine
That.
On.
Yeah.
Well, he'd give us the vocals for that to do a remix, and obviously I put the vocal in FL, just messing about with some chords and that, and then like as I wrote some chords, then I started just like I was like I really need to do something different, and then like sat there for a bit thinking, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go trancey with this.
Yeah.
And then like, so then I just started writing this fucking trance lead and that with the vocals, and just building up like with these pads and.
Yeah.
And
Did it start off as a trance remix you were going for?
Well,
or?
sort of, yeah. It first, and then like, as I'd like put all these elements in and that, and then like I was like basically like working on this breakdown to this big build up, and then like I got to the where the drop was gonna be, and then I was like, fuck this, you know what?
Yeah.
Watch.
Bang it up to 150.
Fuck this, you know what? And I just I literally banged it to 150, dragged a fucking like a bass sample in, and then just like just wrote this fucking rad fucking little donk drop, and then like
so that was the first one that was in that style.
Yeah, and then from there I was just like, whoa, fucking hell, this really works, like, you know what I mean? And then like I was just like,
there's definitely a market there for it, isn't there, as well? Like the melodic elements with the drop. Like the what would you call it? Like it's not like a hard bass bumping style.
Like a bumping style drop. I know some people say like, oh, bass drop. It's not really like hard bass. Like hard bass is, I think hard bass is a bit more harder. Like, you know what I mean? But like it is more like a bumping style drop. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that's sort of like, I think that's went hand in hand with you with the gigs picking up on that for you as well.
So like, see, obviously I'd done that, put a sample up, and I noticed straight away everyone was like fucking like, whoa, like where the fuck's this come from? Like, and then after that I thought I need to carry this on.
Yeah.
And then that was where Shamed come into it with Zara Taylor.
Yeah.
And then when I made that just went absolute fucking mental. That.
So let me get the time frame right. So we'd come on and done this podcast, and you'd just released Shamed at the time.
Yeah, yes.
So, and I said to you when we were here, that's going to be a big tune. That I said it was going to be big, and I've said to you off pod as well.
Yeah.
It's not really for me that tune because of the drop, but then you've then done an edit later on where it's that you keep it melodic throughout.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that.
But just because I don't necessarily like something, it doesn't mean that I know it's going to be a big tune.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of tunes I don't like that are anthems, but as I say, I just thought, this is going to work. This will do bits. So have you heard it anywhere big or any sort of, or have you had a chance to play it at any big gigs or all like that?
Yeah, well, all through last year. Well, obviously because I'd made that track, and then I had Kevin McCusker, I had him in the studio because he'd won like a studio raffle with us, and then we'd done like a bit of a follow up from Shamed with some more vocals from Zara. What You Can't Have, that was called, with another big drop in that, and that was pretty big as well. They both went on the same label, This Is Bounce UK, but so that's where it all started, from that sort of style for us. And then just throughout last year, when I was playing all these gigs like all through the year, and summer was fucking mental as well. Like obviously I got the chance to play them all out there and stuff, which was like the likes of I played at that summer sesh, Kennedy's summer sesh.
Yeah.
I played in the courtyard. That was mental. That like
You done? Was it right? I remember you posted. Did you do the closing hour there, or was it like?
No. I played. I think I played third set in there.
Oh, right.
But it was mad though, cause like when I first got there, like there was like quite a big crowd in this courtyard and that, and everyone was like, "Wow, buzzing and that," and then like. I was like just watching the crowd though.
Yeah.
And like, cause I thought my tracks like nobody's really like actually like. Well, obviously everyone's heard them, but nobody had really heard them on like a big rig and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like watching the crowd, like deliberately just thinking like watching crowd reactions and that like. So like these tracks, the other lads were playing. I can't remember who was on before. I think Rick Shaw was on before as well.
Right.
And then when I come on. My set starter with Emmerdale, what I'd done.
You showed me last time.
Yeah, I showed you, because I said, I was like, I'm gonna fucking drop this, like.
No.
So, anyway, so I played that, and like as I started it, you could tell everyone was like confused. I was like watching everyone, and I heard someone shouting "fuck off" and all like that. I just couldn't help but laugh and that. And then as soon as you hear the like that was when people knew, and they knew someone was coming. And then when it dropped in, like fuck me, the crowd reaction was just unreal. Like you could hear everyone just whoa.
Well, I've seen a video that you put on. It's the one with Lukey on, isn't it?
Yeah,
So Lukey P was on the mic, and then
yeah.
you were on the decks.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember what tune it was you were playing. You're playing it, and it was getting good reactions and stuff like
yeah.
that. So I think that your style's very fitting. Like I've talked to you about this previously as well. Your style's very fitting to the Wigan sort of sound. And it's very fitting to say the Spanish in that. I imagine your tunes getting played over there as well.
Yeah. Well, mind you, that's another thing actually. I've been speaking to David as well. David, what's his name? Is it David Gerrard?
Gerrard, isn't it?
Aye.
Harrow.
Aye. Yeah, I've been speaking to him as well. He's goes by David B.F. Eldon. And
you've got a similar sound, you two.
Well, funny enough, I was speaking to him not long ago, and he's actually on about getting us over there.
Yeah, so
which you mentioned the last time
I told you. I fucking
you?
told you because I've been over there a few times. I just thought like when I seen that Shame track, I thought this would go off here because they do like the euphoric bits, but they fucking love the drops.
Yeah, they love the drops. Yeah. Well, that's it. Like most of the tracks that I've been making in that as well. Like
towards it.
David's like always been on to us. Oh yeah, good idea. Good idea, as they say, good idea.
Yeah.
But
it's either that or they just sent Opa.
Yeah. But and not just that as well though. I've actually had a bit of oh god, I've lost the word now. A bit of support with club bass as well.
Right.
Yeah. His name's Arthur, isn't it? Arthur, yeah.
Arthur and Quasar.
Yeah. Well, he commented on something. It was last year.
Yeah.
And then from then on, we're messaging each other. And he was like, "Pumping Land." He was like, "Pumping Land's waiting for you."
Aye.
And I was just like, "Whoa, fucking hell!" You know what I mean? Like, and then he says, "I absolutely love like your work and that, like your tracks and that." He was like, "But you need to just like sort of slip away from the." Like the melodies and stuff, and just pure
banging,
like hard stuff.
Yeah.
He says, and then he was like, "Because Pumping Land is waiting for you." I was like,
it's a different vibe because I've noticed that they go for either that classic like late 90s sort of clubhead sort of, and like the simple melodies and stuff like that. They're quite non-vocal sort of tunes. Or that either go for the really hard bass.
Shit,
yeah. So like it's like Dirtex was big over there because of his drops.
Yeah.
But it was always like I think it was his big tune called Bombardment.
Yeah.
It was always Bombardment that was big, whereas here, I think the tunes he had that were big was like what was that Italian remix he did?
That,
I'm jetting on the moon.
Yeah. That
what is
Pink
it?
Panther as well. That was a big one over here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did it?
Oh
did
yeah.
it-
Take
did
you for
it?
a ride. That was what
Yeah,
that tune was,
yeah.
Classic
Aye.
tune. I wasn't a fan of that really, but as I say, his vocal stuff worked over here and in Spain. But with Poland, I think it was always the industrial sound and stuff.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah.
I just love it hard.
But
Yeah,
I haven't seen much from Pumpingland lately, like
No.
or what they're doing, sort of thing. I see them playing gigs, but it's never for themselves. It's over other people and that. As I say, it's fucking. If you got over there, that would suit you.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
you have to make a few edits and stuff, but
But
Yeah.
no, he keeps saying to us as well. I thought he's like, you need him. You like he's died. I think he's like, he actually like messages us now and then sometimes out
Yeah.
of the blue. Have you asking us if I've made any like
aye,
in that sort of like
kind of.
sort of style for Pumping Land, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I haven't actually haven't. I don't know why. I just like I keep getting sidetracked with different things and then like there's so many like people who have been like making tracks for and that lately and that as well. So like I just sort of like end up drifting away from it and then I come back and think, right, I'm gonna do this now. And then like someone else pops up and I'm
You
like,
feel guilty for it, don't you?
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean.
It's-
It's like when someone says, "Oh, I've got this idea for a channel," it's like, "Oh, it sounds all right," but you've got to get other shit out the way first. And it's like you feel a bit bad to say
Yeah.
but then not get it done.
yeah, it's
I know
hard
exactly
work.
what you
It is,
mean.
it's hard
Yeah,
work, like.
it's getting the balance as well.
Aye.
But I think, like I say, when I said that you sound a bit like David Bumping for Life,
Yeah.
I think that he took a while to do the transition over to the Poland thing as well, because he didn't get it till later on, because he was always like more melodic bumping and stuff like that. It was only later on where he started doing the
Doing a
really
bit
like hard
harder
stuff. Yeah. But absolutely.
But yeah, I need to get round to it.
What was the gigs you were playing sort of last year then? So you mentioned Big Summer Sesh.
Summer Sesh. I might have to look on my phone because there's that bloody many, man. Honestly,
So-
I ended up going up to Scotland as well, up to Buckie.
Oh, you were saying about that, yeah.
God, honestly, that was some travel. That, man, it was like 6 hours on the train.
Well, it's like, where's that, like near Aberdeen? Is it?
Past Aberdeen. It's like right on the top. Like
What was that like? Is there a scene there?
It's not really like, I don't know. See, the thing is, Andy Cowie, he's a good bloke, like,
Yeah.
a really sound bloke, like, he well looked after us when I was there and everything,
Yeah.
like, but it's a dead nice little place, like this nice little coastal town like place, and that was the only nightclub in this like little
Right.
town, like Purple nightclub, but I went up there, went for some food and that. And then like obviously he showed us where I was staying, which was just over the road from the nightclub.
That's
so
not
it was
bad,
alright.
that is it?
There wasn't like a lot of people come, but like the people who did come, they knew they were coming to see me playing that as
That's
well, which
good.
was nice, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was a few people that had travelled from Aberdeen just to come and see me play.
That's
and
decent.
Peterhead.
Decent.
So I was quite shocked by it. I was like, no way, like I didn't even know
Yeah.
people like followed us that far up. But people do follow you.
Yeah, you don't
people end up
realise.
following you all over the
yeah.
world, man, don't they? You know what I mean?
It is. It's
But,
strange when you see like from different corners of
So
different
there
places.
was like Bucky I played in September.
Do you not think the random gigs are like sometimes the weirdly good?
Yeah,
Like you could turn up to some like proper, sometimes like typically Whitehaven's a proper seaside town.
Yeah.
Obviously from there, so it's a bit different. But when you go to like these coastal towns or like these places have got like no major cities near them or anything like that, and they're all absolute fucking mental. Everyone there, they've all got like some bit of a screw
but
loose.
when there's something going on, because it's just that little small place, everyone goes to it, sort of thing. But yeah, I played the Big Summer Sesh. That was in June. I played Slammed in Wigan as well. That was
Bank holiday in August, was it?
That was an event by Matt Cheese, Farrell, and who else? Oh, I think it was Ricky Gray and that.
Yeah.
But when I got there, Farrell was like, obviously because I was on first, and he was like, Farrell was like, he says, I did mention like, why are you on first, like, because your stuff's not really like suitable for first set, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just said, well, you know what, I says, I'm not really bothered, it is what it is. I says, I'll just play some of my more softer stuff from the start, and then just play the rest of the fucking harder stuff near the end of my set.
No worries. Yeah, it works out all right for you, doesn't it? So what else was there?
There's a couple of sanctuaries I played for and that as well throughout the year. I can't honestly, like, I'm sure, like, through last year I must have had at least about, like, 15 gigs, if not more, like, something like that.
It's not bad, is it? It's good going.
It was mostly in between the summer and that, where it was all going on, like, where it was, like, mostly every weekend and that, like, so...
I've seen a few DJs this year, though. Like, so we're in, as day of recording, we're in, what, like, 2nd of March now? 3rd of March now. I should know, this is my fucking son's birthday today. So we're in 3rd of March now, and there's some really good DJs out there who, they haven't actually done any bookings this year. Just because it's been a funny year, I think, for club nights.
Yeah.
See, there seems to be something on every weekend, but the proper hit and miss, they're either really, really busy or dead. There's no in between.
It is, like, I mean, like, even the start of this year, like, for me, the start of this year has been, like, really weird again. Like,
exactly.
I played for clubbed. Well, my last 2 gigs last year were clubbed in November in Sunderland, and then I played for Excite the night before as well. So I was playing Friday in Newcastle and then Saturday in Sunderland.
Was that in Cosmic Ballroom? That
Yeah,
one,
Excite
right?
was Cosmic Ballroom,
and then
clubbed in Trilogy in Sunderland.
Yeah.
But and then, like, from the start of this year, I played for clubbed.
What are them events like then?
Oh, really good, really good. Really good. Like, Sunderland's always a good night though over Sunderland, like, you know.
Well, I was thinking, I've somewhere I've never played is Sunderland, and it's like
good place, like.
What's the bounce scene like there?
It's I don't know. I wouldn't say it's, like, huge, like, for bounce over, well, because that's where Makina's more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, but
bounce was always like the second room, wasn't it?
But mind you though, like, the first clubbed event they done in November. That was the first one, and it was absolutely rammed wall to wall, like literally, like, it was unreal, like.
Class.
But the start of this year has been a bit slow for us. I've only played, like, 2 gigs so far, I think, haven't I?
Have they got MCs on at these nights?
Yeah.
I just wonder, because I've always seen the North East as a very MC orientated scene, so it's like
MC Tazo and Turbo D and that. On the first event, Turbo D had the fucking crowd, like, absolutely in his hands, like,
mentally hearing them to bounce as well.
It was. Well, seeing as though, like, I used to go to the Monkey and that, like, years ago and that, and then, like, when I was stood there in the crowd and hearing Turbo D emceeing to bounce, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, weird as out. It's proper mad. They're, like, crazy. I just.
Have you seen I know we're on this subject, but have you seen online that Tazo's done that Newcastle United song?
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Seriously, like.
Hey, it's good attention for him.
Yeah,
it
is. It is good attention for him. Like, a lot of people have slated him and that. Like,
I've seen him get absolutely rinsed online, right? But good on him, because the people who were slating him, they're not on fucking, what is it? It was BBC North East, like literally like our main
Newcastle radio. And
yeah. So I'm just like, go for it, lad. I think that's class.
Definitely.
But it's a bit. Some of them lyrics are a bit cheesy, man.
Definitely.
And he starts doing the chants and that. Oh man,
class.
But So what have you got coming up then? Sort of.
I actually haven't. Hold on, what have I got coming up?
In fact, we'll talk about this. I've just seen you got the adrenaline residency as well.
Oh yeah. Well, basically, I had Arky up in the studio a couple of weeks ago, making a track for him. And then he's writing some lyrics and some, like, to go with this track. It's like a remix of an old trance track.
I've heard it. You sent it into the group, I think.
But then, like, after he'd been up, his dad had just passed away and that as well. So, and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And then when he'd, like, messaged us when he'd got home and that, and he was like, "Oh, thanks very much for today," and all that. He was like, "It's just what I needed. Like it's been like a nice day for us and that, like, hanging out with you in the studio and that." And then, like, obviously he told us about his dad and that, and I was like, oh, fucking hell. I was like, And I was like, sorry to hear, mate. I was like,
It's one of the things
I
you don't
says,
know
but
what
I'm
everyone's
glad.
going through.
I says, but I'm glad, like, I've picked your day up a bit, like, you know what I mean, made you feel
Yeah.
a bit better, like, sort of thing. And he was like, oh, honestly, mate, he was like, I really appreciate it and that, like, so.
As I say, you don't know what people's going through, though, do you?
And then it was like a couple of weeks later, he'd messaged us and he was like, me and Macca want you to be a resident for Adrenaline.
It's not
He
bad,
was
eh?
like, because
It's like a big relaunch,
stuff
innit?
and that,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? He was like, we're going for this big relaunch and that. So
Where
he was like, we
he's
want
playing out of Morecambe then, is it?
I think that's where its home's gonna be, sort of thing, Morecambe, yeah.
I did Johnny's Warehouse on New Year's Eve just gone.
Yeah.
It's a proper nice venue as well. If
Yeah.
that's their venue they
Yeah, I
use,
think
I think
that's where it's
that
gonna
they'll be
be,
onto
yeah.
something there, I think.
Aye.
Proper little, like,
Yeah.
because Adrenaline's always had, like, this little, like, cult following where those who like that style are proper
Yeah,
adore it, and it's like...
Aye.
Like, I keep getting a message on a daily basis. Shout out to this lad. I'm sorry I forgot your name. But he messages me, like, quite a lot saying, when you get an Archie on the pod. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, right, okay. But and then talk about Adrenaline. I'm like, okay. And then a couple of days go by. Is Archie on the pod yet? I'm like, well, let me sort it out. We'll just try to...
Nah, he's a good lad, Archie,
Yeah.
though. Like, I class him as, like, a really good friend now,
Yeah.
like...
So, so you're looking forward to going down to Morecambe to play?
Yeah, I am, definitely. Looking forward to, like, getting stuck in and being a part of the brand and that, like.
Yeah. I think your style will work with them as well. I know it was always, like, the Spanish stuff that I've always, like, picked up on. It's been, like, similar to, like, the bountier side at Hard House and the Spanish stuff.
Yeah.
But I think your style will proper slip
Fit in
in.
with it,
Yeah. Like, quite rushy and do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's going all right for you at the minute, eh?
Yeah. Mind that I don't know what's the crack with Sanctuary like. I've just all of a sudden, like, I think the last booking I had for Sank was, oh bloody hell, I can't even remember. It would have been.
The one I picked
I
you
think
up,
it was like I would have been October last year.
Yeah, I think I picked you up, was it the week before?
But after that,
Halloween.
like, I haven't even heard from Farrell or anything like lately, or now, to be fair. But well, mind you, like, I was going through this bit of this bad, I was going through a bit of a bad patch, towards the end of, like, last year and that, where I ended up, like, proper bad with my mental health and stuff. Ended up going a bit off the rails and that.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, Tanya was, like, taking money out my bank, so I couldn't spend any money in that. And then, like, basically I was, like, getting that off my tits and that.
Yeah.
I was, like, asking a few people, like, oh, do you not mind borrowing us this until, like, tomorrow, until I could get my money back, like.
I think everyone goes through hard times.
And then
like
I
that,
actually thought, like, when I come to the point, and I thought, you know what, like, I'm actually, like, asking people to lend us money and all that, because and then, like, thinking, like, Tanya's taking money from us for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I'm pure fucking off the rails and that, but, like,
she's done the right thing. She's been nice by being nasty.
Well,
I think, anyways.
Well,
like,
the main reason for it was, like, I'd just been through, like, this court case. I'll openly say now, like, you know what I mean, and if there's anybody out there who's been through a similar situation and that, like, I'd advise you to just let it out and speak up and that, or whatever.
Shit like that can eat away at you, can't it?
Because, like, basically, like, it ate away at us for all my life, all the way up until, like, the past couple of years ago, and then we were going through this court case. Basically, like, my mum got with this bloke, which was her ex-husband and that. Well, he basically abused me as a kid, like, you know, when I was a kid, when I was like 7 year old.
Defenseless as well.
And like, it's still fucking, it's just pure, like, wrecked my life, like, you know what I mean? But bringing everything back up and being at court and stuff like that, it sort of, like, just completely fucked us up, like. But I'm all right now. I'm good now.
Do you not think in the long run it benefits us, though? Like, problem shared is a problem half. That sort of saying. And another thing as well, like, talking about it with, say, like, your missus or people around you, and that, I think I've had people on the podcast before, and we've talked about, as you say, people's mental health.
Yeah.
People might come across as it's all sunshine and rainbows all the
Yeah.
time. It's never ever
It's
that.
not.
It's not.
No.
It's people's social media as well. It's one of them things I see, and it's like, there's never been a negative post.
Yeah.
If I've got something negative to say, I don't mind sharing it on social media because it shows that you're human.
Yeah.
And stuff like this, I seen that you wrote a post on it. Obviously,
I wrote a big post on Facebook about, because I just said, I was like, you know what, I says, we've won the court case. He's in prison now. Yeah, he got 32 years. He got 32 years in prison.
And another thing as well, you're doing so much good in the long run because that could save somebody else. And another thing as well, it's like you've talked about it, right? And it's like, I didn't know you were going through that. People, I imagine people close to you as well didn't know you were going through it. So it's like, as I say, you don't know what's going on in people's lives.
I mean, like, and there was a lot of people, like, because obviously, like, I did, like, because it's not like, I even said as well, I was like, this is, like, I'm not, like, wanting any, like, fucking sympathy out like that. I just want to let out. When I did let out, I felt like this whole
weight off your shoulders.
Lifted off my shoulders as well. I felt like so good that I actually just let it out and that.
Do you think psychologically, right, that social media's got all its negative points, and I hate it for what it is, but it's got its good points because you writing that, even though anyone can see it or like that, it's your mates, it's that release psychologically off your chest, and it's just like, well, that's that. You feel better in yourself for it now it's out there.
And then, like, say, obviously, but like, he got sent 32 years in prison and that, so he's in there now. And like,
probably gonna die there.
Like I say, I was going through this bit of a bad time at the time, and like just being stupid, really, like, and not trying to, like,
escapism, isn't it?
Yeah, but now, like, I've overcome shit, and like, I've sorted myself out properly and that now. So like, I'm not off the rails anymore. You know what I mean? But I like, while that was going on and that, I think like some people had seen, because obviously Tanya had put some posts on Facebook now and then about shit. And I think obviously some people had been, well, obviously they'd never knew what I was going through and out.
Yeah.
I think some people had just got the wrong side of things.
Yeah.
But like, say, now like, everything's sort of fine now, you know. I mean, obviously still do have like days, shitty days and stuff like
everyone
that.
does,
overcome it now.
Exactly.
Learn to overcome
but now
things.
you've talked about it as well. That's another thing.
It's not as worse as what it was, sort of thing. Like,
it could be something as well. I'm just saying, it could be something, as we're sitting here talking about it. There's just me and you in the room, but like, as you said, there's X amount of people watching behind the camera.
Yeah.
So it's another way of release. You might fucking leave today, you might feel a little bit better in yourself.
Like I say, like, to anyone who's listening and that, though, like, don't let it eat you up inside and that. If anything, like, if you've been through any similar situations out like that, just go forward with it and speak to someone, or go to the police and do something about it, because look, I've done it, you know what I mean? I've done it, I've been there. It's
in everyone's communities as well. Like, people just think everyone's lives are normal. No one's got a normal life, and
definitely not, like.
And so I think you've got to be mindful when you talk to people as well. When you talk to people, I see some people. I use work as a good example, or even in our scene, and some people just give unnecessary shit to other people that's not uncalled for, unnecessary. And it's like, you don't know what that person's going through, so just fucking have a think before you open your mouth as well.
Well, I noticed as well, like, when I put that post up on Facebook, I noticed a few people had commented and said, like, oh my God, like, no way, like, you've been going through all that shit, in the amount of people that you've still been there for and helped, like, music-wise and stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
you don't realise it, do you? Yeah.
And, like, everyone was, like, a lot of people that had said, like, basically, like, you're an absolute fucking legend, you've been going through all that shit and all that, and you still managed to
get on with shit,
on with stuff and help others and that as well, you know what I mean? But that's the type of person I am, like, I always, like, help people if I can, like, you know.
We're talking about it off the pod, weren't we? Where you, like, I think, like, we're both at a stage now where we're not fucking the biggest superstars in the world, but you've got knowledge there that can help people. So when you do get a message, because I think we've all been in a situation before where you've maybe not had help off other people,
Yeah.
and you just want to. Or does this sound alright? Or how did you do this? How did you do that? My inbox is always open for like stuff like that. And
I see, yeah.
and like you say, you were saying to me, when you feel the need that you need to reply to these people because you were once that one day, if that makes sense. Yeah, excellent, mate. So we'll just tie this part up now, and we'll be back for part two in 2 minutes. Back for part two of the podcast. This is the questions. If you want to write in questions to the pod, feel free. Just find us on Instagram at It's Time to Refresh and just send in your questions. I've had some really good questions, and I'm making my way through the list. I got a message the other day from someone saying, why haven't you asked my question yet? Simply because I haven't got that far down, and sometimes I do pick subjective questions out. Like, if I've got a producer on and it's a production question, 2 minds are better than one. If I've got a promoter on and they ask about events and what DJs I want to see and stuff like that, I'll save it for a producer, for a promoter, sorry. So if you do want to ask questions, then as I say, I'm on Instagram, YouTube, etc. and all that. So we'll start off today, mate. Hi, pal. In your opinion, what does it take to be a genuine star in the scene nowadays? I'm talking the level of Scooter, Bass Hunter and Cascada. And that's from Jamie F 1994 on YouTube.
What does it take to be a star? Bloody hell. Basically...
If we knew, we'd be stars.
No.
No,
I
think...
well, in a sense, along them sort of lines is the... Basically, like, being different.
Yeah.
Try to be more different and more creative than than anyone else. Don't try to be like do the same sort of things as what other people do or something.
Yeah.
Just try and make things your own little way. And especially like as a producer and that as well. Music producer, finding your own style.
Absolutely.
Your own sounds and own style and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what
you've been doing, yeah.
Myself.
But it takes a long time to get to that, doesn't it? Yeah, you've got to learn to be able to produce the music.
Yeah.
Then you learn by replication. You maybe sound like a couple of other people, and then eventually get there, don't you?
Yeah, that's it.
I'd like to say, I think a lot of people think too big too early. I know a lot of people, like for me, for instance, I did when I was younger. I thought, I want to do this, this, and this, and when you know for a fact deep down you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
So like, I think I'd say my biggest thing would be
time.
It's time, but it's build your support locally.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing. If you've got your local support with you, then promoters will see it, right?
Thing,
and another thing, if you're gonna say make it to stardom as Bass Hunter, where you've got music videos on fucking TV, shit like that. my thing is just do you, right, and build. When you've got your local following, it will, and people will notice. It's like promoters. There is people out there who are looking for the next big artist to make, and whether you have to reach out to them or whatever. Look at the likes of like Ben Nicky now, right? Ben Nicky's he's not on the Bass Hunter level or out like that, but he's got like, from what I can gather, he's got like a management team and that behind him, and they won't have just picked a random DJ. They'll have seen somebody who's got a bit of a following and like, right, we can inject some money into that and make it into a star.
We can make it something even bigger.
Yeah,
that's it.
So I'd say focus on establishing yourself as a local artist first, because that's where it all starts. And then another thing as well, you bringing something to the table. Like, if you're genuinely talented and people love you for what you do, I think that people will travel to see you. So if you do get booked for, I don't know, let's say you're booked for a big bounce event, and there's people that's going to travel with you to do that because they want to see you for your sound and what you do, then promoters notice, and then next minute you'll be doing the bigger sets because they're like, oh well, they pulled names. It is, if you're drawing ticket money, then they know for a fact that what it is, and then it'll just progress from there. As for stardom, in my opinion, I don't think there's a lot of talented people in the scene who it could be, but it is a matter of like a management company and just handpicking somebody.
Definitely,
You see some people who get like some big tracks and stuff like that, and maybe one or two, and it sort of fizzles out. But no one's. Who was the last person to go sort of big? It would be. I genuinely don't know.
Bloody hell! I can't even think of that one. Like,
it would be like sort of era. It's like you're sort of talking like probably like Bass Hunter, Cascader, them sort of names mentioned. But they would have been local artists at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you who's doing bits now that I think, and they've just came from nowhere, and I hope someone is backing them because they're onto something. That NRG tracks, rave tracks. Do you ever heard of them? The one that Finchie's done a tune with them.
Oh yeah.
Like the couple of Scottish lads.
It's been released on.
It's on Trick, isn't it?
Trick,
yeah. So like just like that, like look at the deal. Like they're just gone from. I'm not going to say zero, but they weren't zero. That's quite sounds insulting, but
the
relatively
known
unknown. Yeah, locally, and then now they're known on like a national scale.
Well,
that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it is,
like,
Definitely.
but as for mega stardom, like nowadays, I don't know if Bounce would ever get that far. Like,
it is possible, but the problem is with the bounce scene is nobody like seems to. Like,
no one wants to invest in it as well.
Yeah, well, no one's making it possible because the way a lot of people go on in the scene. That's why it's not making it possible, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, but
there's a couple of names who are doing bits though, because I know that I'm on a gig tomorrow with that Bounce Projects. They've done Hazel Eyes.
Lee, yeah.
I don't know him, but
I don't know him myself, like, but yeah.
He's
well,
done,
I've never known of him at all until I heard that Hazel Eyes, and
he's done what was it like? Is it Universal have signed it to or something like that?
It's signed.
It's a major
Sony,
though.
It's signed to Sony Entertainment,
yeah.
but it's like a sub label of Sony Entertainment. It's called Robots and Humans, I think it's called.
I don't know.
And it's to do with, basically that label is to do with like pushing new artists, new breeds.
But it's a major though, isn't it? Like,
it's a major because it's tied in with Sony Entertainment and that. I mean, so that's fucking that is fucking big. Like,
I know.
So well done to him. Well done to the lad. Anyway,
I know Matt Connor done some bits as well. With Initiate, they got. Was it Looking for Love? Was it? They got signed.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of like ones where the big labels have picked them up.
Yeah. Just
gotta roll with it, haven't you?
Just find that went on Ministry of Sound by Matt, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Just fine, yeah. And as I said, it was getting radio play. Like that one with Finchy and NRG tracks. It's getting radio play all over. It's like
that's
fucking.
What you want, man,
that's it, isn't it? It's like. It's not mega stardom, but fuck me, it's a start. Do you know what I mean? You just need somebody who sees potential in you to go, I'm your publisher, I'm doing this, that's it. I think that's the way to stardom nowadays. You have to do it as a business rather than just try and fucking do gigs until you get massive. It doesn't work like that. No. Next question. Found you through your UK hardcore track Let It Breakbeat, then found the pod. It's now part of my routine listening at work. Anyway, have you got anything booked in for Bristol? And that's from Dave King. No, because I don't even know if there's a donk scene in Bristol. Sorry, there's Bristol Donk Collective, isn't there?
Mind you, I have heard though, like lately there's an event called Bounce Down South.
Yeah, that's tonight.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
There's a couple. I've noticed there's a couple that's like further down the way, like lately, and
I don't know what numbers are like.
Starting to spread down a bit, like, you know what I mean?
It's good.
It's a good thing.
Do you know what I found? I don't know if you've seen it. This is actually pretty good, good publicity. So on TikTok, I seen a lad. He's like, oh, we're just going to a random rave in the UK, and then they go to like Wigan, and they're like Southerners, like they're from, I think they're from somewhere in London or Brighton or something, and the video, the journey on like a 60-second TikTok going to thing, and the video that sells in Pure, and the raving to bounce and stuff like that, it's got something like fucking 500,000 likes or something. It's like I've never heard of donk music, but let's go and check it out, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, have a look for that video if you're watching. And
absolutely mad. I'm gonna have a look for it myself.
I'll show you when we're off the pod. But honestly, I was like, and then it shows you like their journey down. It's like, would I go to another bounce event? Absolutely, yes.
No way.
It just shows you him and his mates absolutely off the nuts on the dance floor in Pure.
There's a couple of times that I've took people to like a bounce event before they've never been to a bounce event or anything, and then after it they're like, when we're going to the next one, you know what I mean?
I'm sure. Didn't your brother come to one? And he's like not into the scene. I'm sure I seen him.
Did you enjoy it? Come to one, yeah. I know he did.
Class.
He does. He does. Well, like my brother, like he likes a bit of like old music and that. Really, I don't think he hasn't really got like a
certain
sort
style,
of certain
yeah.
like
Niche.
thing like what he likes sort of thing. It's just like he'll just go with the flow sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But,
Class. But yeah, it's good to that. Like as I said, you see these little like. I've noticed there's a few DJs. Sorry, it may be sort of producers as well who pop up and they're like from random places in the
Yeah.
UK, and it's like, how have you heard of Donk? And I'm like, they'll message you and they'll have a crack, and they're like, oh, I'm from so and so, like, and it's middle of nowhere. I was like, is there a scene down there? Like, no, just found it online. But I'm like, surely they'll have like local friends who are like, they might create a little scene down there, and I think that's it. That's only positive for it. But as I say, it's a weird scene that like some people have never heard of it, and then other people, it's like, get it out my sight.
yeah.
I was saying to one of the lads the other day, because at work he was saying to me, he says, fucking bounce DJ, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Just like, he's only a young lad, he's I think he's about 19, 20, and he's like into drum and bass and stuff like that, and he says, I'm going to Wigan on Saturday because they're going to drive like, I think it's like drive Lamborghinis or something, like to test track drive things.
yeah.
They're going to do that, and it's like, is there anywhere that doesn't play Donk in Wigan? And I was like, I think you'll struggle there. I think the takeaways even play. But it's like, it's one of them things where it's like, last time I was down there, I think I was recording a pod with someone, and I went to go and get a meal deal from Asda, and I was coming out, and there was like this old woman in a car seat, she was maybe early 60s maybe, and she's there, and she's got like fucking bounce classics on a fucking car, and I was just like, it's generational, this shit.
Class.
It's pure generational. Everyone loves it, like even the nans and that, do you know what I mean? Next question, which is last question for today. Hello lad, buzzing about your residency announcement. Proper done well for a Frizzington lad. What's your next goal wise? What's your next for you goal wise, pal? And that's from Cal LFC, and that's on YouTube as well. So what's your next goal? What are you looking to achieve?
My next goal, I would say my next goal, I would say, is to try and push myself that little bit more, push the boundaries a bit more, in music and anyway. And one of my aims is to try and get on like some major labels.
Yeah, like just what we're talking about, really. Yeah.
In time anyway. I mean, like, no rush on out like that. I just take my time. And
Just asked a question here. Do you think that a major would sign that style that you do with the drops and that? Do you think they would?
Nah, I couldn't see that happening. Like, I couldn't see a major label signing like something with a big heavy drop. Like, but there again, though, you just don't know these days, though, do you? I mean,
if it's popping, it's getting good numbers.
If it's something that in their A&R think, this could really work. Like, this could get a lot of people's attention and stuff. Then you just don't know, do you? You know what I mean?
It's a weird gap between, like, so there's like your house music and you got drum and bass. Some of them drum and bass drops are heavy as fuck that you hear, and it's like, well, bounce is just a little bit slower than that. And I don't know. It's one of them things that never say never, isn't it? I suppose.
But as well as that, though, like to get some players on Radio 1 and that as well, which I've already had. I've already had one of my house tracks played on BBC Radio Cumbria not long ago.
Right, that's good.
Aye, and I've sent them some more stuff lately as well, so
That's
fingers
good.
crossed, see what happens with them.
I don't know if they'll whack the bounce on, like,
Nah,
BBC are a bit.
I really can't see it happening with bounce, like, but with the house, like, they aired it straight away and that. And Radio 1 actually listened to it.
Yeah.
But they didn't air it, like, which.
Yeah.
I was a bit gutted by, like, because Radio 1's. That's the one you want to aim for, isn't it? Really,
it's the number one, isn't it?
The
That's
big
what
one,
it is.
isn't
Yeah. I'm not even a fan of Radio 1 anymore. Do you know that?
Mind you, it worked. I listen to Radio 2.
Yeah, I listen to Radio 2. I put a post up the other day about Radio 2. It's
About
Fatboy Slim.
Yeah.
Fatboy Slim coming onto Radio 2. That is fucking bits.
That's class.
It is. And it is probably because we're older and that now. That Fatboy Slim's probably not cool anymore, but fuck it.
Cool to us,
cool to us. Honestly, I seen it on, like, I think. Oh no, I was listening to Radio 2, and it's like coming to BBC Sessions, I think it was called.
Yeah,
so I had a quick Google of it.
Yeah,
and that,
I heard it on the radio at work.
And then
about it.
I Googled it, and I was like, all right. And then the next day, it's like they were that in demand for it that they've actually made it into an hour show on Radio 2, and
Class
I was like,
that, man.
class. So, I mean, you've got to sacrifice some things to get some good things. So the sacrifice there is poor Ken Bruce is going from Popmaster, and he's taking Popmaster with him, which is a shame. But Fatboy Slim's coming, so fuck it. Yeah, rough with the smooth and all that. Goals-wise for me this year, I'm... As daft as it sounds, I've just got the. You said about the Sank residency there. I've just got that residency. I love that I've got a regular place to play out and stuff like that.
Well done on that, anyway. Like.
Nice one. But for me, the DJing's never been priority. When I was younger, like maybe 16, 17, I always wanted to just play everywhere, like every gig, and I'd get dead envious when other people would get gigs and I wouldn't. And it's like, I've got to that point now where I'm not really fussed about gigs. I'm enjoying doing the podcast, meeting, fucking having crack with people like yourself and that. And I'm enjoying just writing music. Like, if I'm honest with you right now, my head's in a space of, in my free time, I'm doing the studio. So that'll be finished soon. But my goals sort of going forward are just hammer on with this podcast, and I'm doing the thing called Manic with John G, and that's sort of the priority at the minute. Like writing tunes there. We've got 3 finished, and just to see where it takes us. I don't think it's gonna. I don't want to be signed to a major label. I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not aiming to be signed to a major label. Even
just as long as it gets out there.
Just as long as it's played. I'm not really that fussed about gigs and stuff. I mean,
See, as far as gigs with me and that, like, the main thing for me is I just want to be out there just playing me music to crowds. That's the main thing.
It's a
for
buzz,
me.
isn't it? Yeah.
Playing my own music to crowds, and that's
there's a different feeling when you play your own tune to a crowd than when you play someone else's.
Definitely.
And when you see
feeling.
You've sat in this room and you've wrote a tune and you think, oh, I wonder if this works, wonder if that works. And the payoff when you see people react to your tunes is something else.
It is like the best. It's like one of the best feelings. Like
I think that's the only thing that's keeping me DJing. As stupid as it sounds.
Well,
because
see how you're on about like Sanctuary, like Resident, and that I was kind of hoping for that one myself. Like you know what I mean, but I've like I say I don't know. I've never heard from Farrell since the last gig I played for him. Like
the October one.
I don't know what the crack is there. Like to be fair. But
I think that'll eventually come as well. To be honest with you, it's just, as I said, time needs to go by.
But I was quite open for residency with Sanctuary because I was playing like quite a lot for Farrell and that as well. At the time, and like I was playing like more or less every Sanctuary gig. That was on like. But
I think the 13-year-old me,
unless he's probably seen like the situation I was in. Seeing that I was going through a bit of a bad time, and he's just thought, I don't really want to like.
Maybe again in 12 months it might be another thing, because I think everyone started
doing it now anyway. Farrell, so next year.
I think a lot of people as well. Have you not noticed that like promoters are doing like a 12 monthly residency? Like you'll see someone dropped and then someone kept, someone dropped, and every sort of January they sort of announce a new residency list. So in 12 months time, who knows? Do you know what I mean?
Probably just wanted us to sort my personal issues out first or something. I mean that could be the case, or might not be. Might have just not even fucking bothered messaging us about like. But I don't know. No,
I don't think there'll be no.
He's a good lad, Farrell. Though.
I don't think there'll be no thing over it or like that. I don't think. But I think. We're in a time and a space where there's so many like brands and that out there now. You don't rely on the one. Like as I say, you're playing clubs, you're playing Adrenaline. You're doing bits with Kenty last year. You played up in Scotland. There's more than that. Whereas sort of 10 years ago, there was only a handful of gigs available. So do you know what I mean? There's always more to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But goals wise, I think it's not unrealistic for you, and I think it's a good target to go for. It keeps you hungry as well.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
Keeps you hungry. And that's the last of them questions today, mate. So we're gonna do the feature which we did last week, which you won't have seen yet because Rick's episodes have just went live. It's called Flop or Bop. Basically, as people all know, I'm going to read you a list of tunes, and you're going to tell me flop if you think it's shite, or bop if you fucking think it's bouncing. Simple as that, mate.
Right, let's go.
I might question you on some of them because I think some of them are shit, some of them are good, whatever. So we'll go from there. So Eiffel 65, I'm Blue, flop or bop?
Flop for me, like.
Flop, really? It's always been one of them that I like.
I don't know, I just can't, like... It's just one of them tunes I've just not really, like... I've never, like... I don't know. A lot of people do seem to like it and that, but with me, I'm just... I don't know. It's just one of them tunes I've never...
I think the melody's fantastic in it. And if you play it at 150, like that melody, and maybe if you've done like a donk bootleg or something like that, that melody's rushy as fuck. Yeah, it's got like a dead rushy element to it. I think it's. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a bop. Fuck you if you don't like it.
Oh well.
Here's one. A very divisive one. This one. Some love it. Some hate it. Alex K. Royal Flush.
Bop. Definitely bop.
Bop. I love
Bop
it.
for me, like I love it. Like I don't know. It's just one of them tunes. Soon as you hear it, like even before you even hear the melody, like if I hear that, I can hear that tune being mixed in by someone. Soon as you hear that come in, it's like, oh my god, I know what's coming on here. I know what's coming on.
Class.
But
class tune.
yeah, definitely bop for me. That, like.
I'm gonna say bop, but I'm gonna caveat that as well and say there's a little bit of a flop in there. The only thing that makes this tune bad is the MCs that fucking think they're amazing over it. There is some good MCs, don't get me wrong, right? But it seems to be the MC tune.
Yeah, it does. Like everyone, like.
It's what gives it negative connotations as well.
It's like fucking gives the mic.
But honestly, as a tune, it's on its own, standalone tune, it's an absolute bop.
Definitely.
And no arguments needed. Loving, You're a Superstar.
Bop.
Bop
Yeah,
as well.
definitely bop.
A lot of people don't like that tune, but I think it's fantastic.
Nah, I do. I like
them
it,
keys in that tune is amazing. It's same as Raw Flush.
It's very like
instant gratification, isn't it?
Aye, it's like very like. It's like quite a cheerful type of like a tune in it. It's like one of them tunes that lifts you up, sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
but it's like the same with Raw Flush as well. When you hear, because when you mix it in, it's I know what's coming now. I'm ready for this. Yeah. So that's a bop as well from me. Wand Happiness.
Bop.
Bop.
Definitely bop.
Bop.
Definitely bop.
But if you go around fucking donking it over, it's a flop because it doesn't need it.
Nah.
It's a banging tune as it is.
Nah. Like seriously, like that's one tune. Like, you know, even if I was gonna remix it, I wouldn't put like a full on like a donk.
It doesn't need much
I wouldn't
change
put
there.
like a donk bass sound behind it. I'd put like a nice. Like some nice sort
organ
of like
or something like
bass.
that.
I wouldn't go full on hard like heavy donk.
Doesn't
like,
need it.
Sound behind it. Like.
It is one. I know it's not a flop or bop thing. What is Wand Happiness? Would you say is it a bounce tune or is it Italian? A lot of Italian say it's an Italian tune.
I wouldn't say it's an Italian tune, and I wouldn't say it's a bounce tune.
It's somewhere in between, isn't it?
I'd say it's more like just like a club tune,
Euro
like
dance tune, like Euro dance tune,
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. By the way, it's a fucking banging tune that, and I think a lot of people hate on it, and I'm not sure why. I think there's not much to like hate on about it. I don't think it's very. I don't know. That's just me, I suppose, isn't it? And the last one today, which is the most divisive one, which I always leave till last. So last week it was Peter K. Amarillo, which is a fucking terrible tune. But this one is the most divisive of the week, and that's Mickey Liddell versus Jesse, Dancing in the Dark.
Oh God! See, you know, with this one, I'm actually gonna say flop, like, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think possibly what it is with that tune is the vocals. The vocals just sound dead like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Like the vocals just sound dead like boring type. Like there's nothing really like. I don't know. There's not really like to it. Like there's no like uplift to it or nothing like that. It's just Nah.
It doesn't carry the energy.
Nah,
So
definitely
it's a
flop.
flop. For me, I'm going to say bop. And not even for the vocal. I think Jessie's a brilliant vocalist, by the way. Because like, look at me now as a tune, by the way. Like one of the best. One of the best.
Fucking absolute tune, and the vocals are mint.
Yeah. But the thing I'm going to say why is on the way through, I listen to it just to refresh it in my mind, because it's not something I listen to often, because it's not a great tune.
Yeah.
But there's a part in it, right, where the chorus hits on the breakdown, and it's got the piano playing underneath, and then the euphoric melody comes in, and they've got the ride hitting on top of it, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. But then the rest of the tune shit.
Yeah,
so
come to think of it, now that you just said that, there's
like elements to it.
There's that little bit of element in there what is pretty good in that, but
yeah. But overall, the tune, it's a bit. But I'm gonna have to say bop just for that moment, because I heard it and I thought, I forgot this is good. Yeah, and if you think it's a flop tune, go listen to it again, and there's like a few little bits in
you
it.
might
You're
change your mind.
There's a few ad libs in it as well. That's like, I'm like, oh, this is nice. And that's flop or bop for this week. I'm sorry about some of the fucking choices. Some of them were shit, some of them were good. But it's what people have put on the post, that's all. So before we tie today up, mate, I just want to ask you, because I don't think I asked you on the first one, for your final meal. I didn't, did I? No, so you're about to get the electric chair. I only brought it in, I think, episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So you're about to get the electric chair because you've been a dick. And basically, what's your final meal? You're allowed starter, main, dessert, and a beverage.
Final meal, bloody hell. Oh god, this is I'm gonna have to think about this one a little bit. Final meal, I would say.
You don't need to have a starter, main, and dessert. Just if whatever you feel like, they're the options.
Starter. I would gamble like some pizza, some garlic bread with cheese or something.
Nice.
But then obviously it doesn't really go with me main what I'm thinking like. But me
Your last meal, who gives a fuck?
My main would probably be like jerk chicken with rice and peas and that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then like for dessert. Oh, dessert, bloody hell. Dessert, I absolutely love jam, roly-poly and custard.
They're going out with a bang there, like.
Jam, roly-poly and custard. Get up there.
So, and what we have them as a bev to go. Doesn't need to be alcoholic, by the way. It can be.
Doesn't need to be alcoholic.
Yeah, it can be if you want it to be.
Well, there's a drink that I've been really liking lately, like, just like pop, like. Tango.
Tango?
Aye, Tango, it's, what kind is it though?
By the way, Tango Apple, banging as fuck.
Yeah,
banging. Underrated.
It's like a new flavour. The pop's actually pink. I don't even know what the flavour is.
Oh, is it grapefruit? Is it?
No, it's not grapefruit. I actually don't even know the flavour of it, I've never even read what flavour it is. I just know it's pink.
Is it punch? It could be called Tango Punch or something like that.
Or is it strawberry and watermelon? Maybe, I think.
If it's watermelon, I'm out on that. Like,
it could be strawberry and watermelon. I don't know. Mind you, anyway, though, it's the pop's pink in the bottle and it's fucking lovely.
Yeah, well, we'll say that. I'm just in the middle of googling it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Google it.
Is it pink drink? People have been googling this because it's searched quite a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Berry peachy, Tango berry peachy. Have some of that. I've never even seen it in the shops, to be honest with you. But I'll give it a try. I'll definitely give it a try. So, right, before we sign off today, where can people find you?
What do you mean? As in?
Well, gigs and your links and that as well.
Well, SoundCloud, Drake Liddell. Everybody will know that. I'm coming up close to 5,000 followers as well on there.
Fucking knock up to 5,000. Give them a few. Give them a follow.
Everyone, get yourselves on SoundCloud and follow us.
Yeah. Sign up to the Patreon as well. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
While you're there, just fill in your fucking card details. £3 a month. There you go, son.
Yes. But anyway. So, and a couple of gigs I've got coming up is one on the 7th of April. I'm playing in Gateshead at the Federation Brewery for Alliance. That's gonna be a fucking good.
Was that announced yesterday or day before? Or this week? I've just seen the flyer for the first time this week for that. I seen it. I thought I seen it and I was like, oh, this is a decent lineup. This.
I think I posted it a couple of days ago.
I've seen the flyer.
It's Andy Whippy, Ian Redmond, Kovan, Finchy, and then there's obviously me, but the basically Alliance is like it's more like it is a Makina event, right? But the little thing what they've done, they're starting it off as like bounce.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be more of a bounce event this time. But like towards the end, there's gonna be like a little tickle of Makina. So it's like so basically you're gonna have like a couple of bounce sets, and then towards the end there's a couple of Makina, and plus there's gonna be a Makina room 2 as well with a couple of up and coming Makina DJs, MCs, and stuff like that. Plus I'm doing a little gig in Wigton actually as well on the 27th of May.
I'm on that.
And you're on that.
I'm on that,
yeah.
Get down there.
I
never played in Wigton before.
Wigton, yeah.
Yeah. Never ever played there. I do not know what to expect.
Yeah, neither do I. But I've been told that it'll be absolutely rammed, and it's like it's a proper little rush pit pub. So
right.
It's probably going to be a mad one, like.
I've got no reason to go to Wigton, so I've never been.
No,
I apologise. Oh no, I think I've been, but it's not for a night out.
I think it'll be fun though.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The small places like that in like pubs.
When we were talking about this a minute ago, like earlier on in the podcast, where you go to these like random towns and that, they end up being absolute mental nights. So this is going to be one of them. So it's Wigton. What's the date on it?
27th of May.
27th of May. Yes. Get on it.
Yeah. What else have I got coming up? Have I got something else?
Yeah. Before we say that, I just want to say, fucking, it's a free lineup, right? Like you can go in free entry. Oh, yeah, it's actually a banging lineup as well for a
thing. Me, you, Andy Kelly, Millsy.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, my pal Jordan's on the lineup as well.
Yeah. So fucking get on that.
Aye, free.
Yeah.
And then I've got a gig, which is all the way up in July, bloody hell, miles away, like.
Yeah.
I think it's the 20th or 29th of July, and that's in Cleethorpes. I think me and Alan Ben are one of the main ones.
Right.
I think we're like the main ones on the lineup. Like.
I've seen this one. Is this
Equinox Bees night?
Yeah, I think I've seen it. It's like a blue flyer.
Yeah, it's in Cleethorpes, which I'm actually quite buzzing by because it's right next door to Grimsby, and a load of me mum's side of the family are from down there. So
you're going down, yeah.
So I messaged me cousin, and she was like, "Right, I'll be getting everyone coming from Grimsby." So basically, the club's gonna be fucking full of people from Grimsby.
It's a weird place down that way. Like for it, because I remember I played hardcore down there a few years ago, and I was thinking, there's not going to be much here. Like I'm not expecting much. Got there, and it was like a little box club, and it was fucking rammed, and I was like, this is class.
That's what you want, like.
I think it was Cleethorpes.
But yeah, I think that's the only. Yeah, it is. I've basically got them 3 gigs coming up, and that's it so far.
Oh, what about Adrenaline as well?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not too sure what's going on with Adrenaline yet. I know there's a Sanctuary versus Adrenaline night in Morecambe, and that's on the 7th of May.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Adrenaline residents have been. I don't think some of them have been picked for it yet or not. So
right. Okay.
I think we're still waiting on Arky and Macca
to sort it out. Obviously, if it's a versus night, you've only got so many spots on the lineup. Yeah.
I could be on the lineup, or I might not be. So
here we go. Look at it like this: Sanctuary resident, Adrenaline resident. We might not even be there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we might not even be there.
Yeah, but go to it though, because it'll be fucking. Honestly, I don't know if you've been to Johnny's or not.
No, I haven't.
Right, it's a proper like little warehouse thing, and it's a really good venue. Yeah. It's worth just going for the venue, like with a random bounce night on. But yeah,
with us being a resident for Pressure in the northeast as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple of nights coming up. There's a good few dates booked up for Pressure and that, like. So I'll probably be over Newcastle, Sunderland or whatever, like, for a couple of them gigs, maybe sometime through the year.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's Clubbed as well. I don't know whereabouts what's going to be happening, like, with the next gig that's coming up with that, like.
Just plug the lock.
I could be on it. I might not be. Just all depends. Depends on what Lee and Anthop. Well, it's Lee T.
Right.
Anthop and Fitzy and Rossi B who do the Club and Pressure on that together. And that
right. Okay. So I don't know that Anthopper, but Lee T's he's a producer as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So I'm sure he did. Did he do like the Venga Boys Up and Down? He did that. I just remember going through my USB and
I know
I
he's
bought
done,
it.
What have you got for me?
Yeah, it's the same guy then, yeah. And obviously Fitzy and Rossi B.
Like there's some of his tunes lately have been really good. Like
Yeah.
I've actually like really liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one. Just want to say thanks to everyone for listening. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Subscribe, you bitch, because honestly, right, I want to give you a little update. Obviously, we've had Dean on today. Dean will be coming on again once the studio's ready. I just want to give you a little update on the studio. I will be posting pictures in the group of the progress. For the last 2 months, I couldn't put any pictures on for the simple reason of it looked like we'd done fuck all. But obviously, been putting a roof on, and the roof's been absolute pain in the ass. But you'd be like, "That's the studio," but it's like, but now it's starting to take shape and stuff like that. I'm going to put a little update on as well. Hopefully, have it ready in the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping. In fact, it will be ready. Starting to plasterboard it tomorrow, Sunday. And then starting to decorate. Gonna put this out there for anyone still listening as well. Put some suggestions forward. What you'd like to see, what you want the layout to be for the podcast. Are you wanting a sofa? Are you wanting a table? Because people have been asking what it's going to look like. And if I'm honest with you, I've only done the backdrop. I've got loads of little artifacts for people who's been on the podcast, stuff we've talked about, stuff like that, little pictures and stuff like that. But the actual layout, I haven't planned it yet. Or do you want little seats like this where you're on chairs? Or so let us know if you what you want, and I'll look into sort of getting it like laid out. Cheers for listening. I'll see you later.
Thanks for having us on.